Good morning, Warriors, and other people who may be watching.
I'm Elisha Kuntz.
And I'm Kateri Smith. Let's start the show.
Also check up doors.
Elijah, do you ever think about what's happening?
Do I think about happening?
No, I'm talking about the news. Like, think about the news.
No.
Huh, I do. Well, since you don't, we'll go watch current news.
But I don't think about it.
Exactly.
Good morning, Warriors. This is Peyton. Just kidding. It's Rochelle. I'm coming in to fill in for her with your weekly dose of news. First off, let's take a moment of silence for those who lost their lives this past week in New Zealand shooting. As everyone may have already heard, there has been a shooting in New Zealand on March 15th. As far as anyone knows, the only suspect is a man named Brenton Tarrant, who is being charged for 2 counts of murder and attack on 2 separate mosques. 50 people have lost their lives due to this tragedy, while 50 more people were severely wounded. 34 people still needing to undergo multiple surgeries. 12 remain in intensive care. There is still no found motive as to why Tarrant committed this heinous crime. Legal experts say he would avoid facing terrorism charges over years. Fear the trial would give to him the platform to promote his views. The Prime Minister is also pushing hard for better gun control. She has been reported to promise tighter gun control laws as soon as possible. Next, in Utah, the search for the little 4-year-old girl, Andine Jones, was suspended. On Sunday, only 3 days after the search began, officials halted in the search so they can bring in more help. Andine is said to have wandered off from her Utah home last Thursday. Officials also say that there is no sign of abduction either, and she was just simply wandered off. Community volunteers are still getting together in hopes to bring her home safely. Prayers are being sent to her family from all over the state, including our Warrior News team. Lastly, in Italy, there was an accident involving a bus driver who abducted 51 children and chaperones, then set the bus ablaze after being stopped by a blockade, according to the officials. Thankfully, officials were able to bust in the back emergency windows and get all the children and chaperones out safely, without serious injuries. Officials also were alerted by an adult riding the bus and one of the child's parents, who was called, and then they were alerted authorities. The authorities set up roadblocks and they finally caught the bus. Thankfully, no one was seriously injured. Well, Warriors, that's all I have for you today. Let's go back to the anchors.
Okay, my turn to ask a question.
Okay.
Do you think about food?
All the time, especially burgers.
Well, I happen to have made a video about that.
Burgers?
Nope, my top 5 restaurants in Gallup.
Maybe one of them sells burgers.
Welcome to Elisha Kuntz's top 5 restaurants in Gallup. Let's get into it. In the number 5 spot is Dragon Express. This is good for when you're craving Chinese food, but don't want to wait the time, and it's locally owned. In the number 4 spot is Denny's. I recommend that you get this for breakfast or brunch because the pancakes are bomb. For our 3rd spot is Applebee's. I like this place because it has good appetizers and their food is great. This place also has a great atmosphere. For the 2nd spot is Grandpa's Grill. So good for a family-friendly restaurant, and it has that original grill food taste. Last in the number 1 spot is Wendy's. I could eat this breakfast, lunch, and dinner without getting sick of it, and it's fast. Because I'm a middle schooler and I like things fast, but not fast, to the point of it being bad, like McDonald's, that's why Wendy's is in my number 1 spot over Grandpa's Grill, even though I'd take a Grandpa's Grill burger over Wendy's any day. Remember, Warriors, this is just an opinion. I'll see you guys next week. Now back to the anchors.
Elijah, we've been going to school here forever.
So?
Well, next year there'll be newcomers.
And?
Well, let's watch a video from last year about surviving middle school.
Okay.
I'm Ashley Madrid.
And I'm Jasmine Mata, and we're reporting from Warrior News.
Today, we're going to be giving you, the 6th graders, and even some of the other classes here, some advice on how to survive middle school.
So keep on watching.
What advice would you guys give the new coming 6th graders for this year?
Just don't forget your homework in math class.
Especially Miss Feltz, she'll scream.
Yeah, pay attention.
Is there any other advice you would give them besides that?
Don't run into any people in the halls. It just starts problems.
Is there any other advice you would give them?
Do your work. Don't get Miss Feltz mad.
So I'm Ashley Madrid, and that was some advice you've heard from the 7th and 8th graders.
So now that you heard people's opinions, we're going to give you some advice on how to survive middle school.
Whoa, stop. This here is known as drama. This is one of the stupidest things that can happen when you're in middle school. So in total, just avoid drama.
Well, maybe instead of holding it off till the last minute, you should also try to keep all your stuff organized from each class, and you shouldn't wait till the last minute to do it. As soon as you get home, you should really start it then.
So now that we've come to our last reason, it is stay positive.
Staying positive is one of the best things you could do when you're in middle school.
1, research has shown that outcomes are better when you're positive.
Another one is that if you're positive, your mood comes out better. You're happier with your days, and there isn't really much that can go wrong when you're happy.
We know that school is difficult, but
If you use these tips, you'll be less stressed and happier.
so isn't that what it's all about?
So I'm Ashley Madrid,
And I'm Jasmine Mata.
and this was our tips and advice on how you can survive middle school.
So have a great year, Warriors!
Dang, look at baby Bloss.
Well, Blas, that's what you get for not coming to school today. Man, I have the munchies. But it's my turn again. Are you thirsty?
Maybe.
Well, great, because it's tea time.
I don't get it.
It's a pun.
Terrible, just terrible.
Let's just go to tea time.
Roll intro.
Time to spill the tea now. After this, you'll say wow. Right?
Oh, first question by Joshua Yazi in 6th grade. Why can't we take out our phones?
What's the question? Sorry. I was just on my phone here trolling Kayla Rojas and Riley Silva for being late to 5th hour again. God. What's the question?
Why can't we take out our phones in class?
I think I just answered it.
Always being distracted?
Uh-huh. This is not your friend, JFK Warriors.
Distraction.
Next question.
I mean, what do you guys think? Are they a distraction?
Yeah.
Probably.
But they could help us, like, sometimes.
Oh, yeah, I think phones are helpful. It's just like students have no self-control.
They take advantage of it.
It's like crack cocaine.
Okay, next question. Why do we have to wear uniforms? That's by Anonymous.
Exhibit A.
Because they're against gang
To stop gangs?
I think I can chime in on this as a teacher. So the idea with dress code is that we're trying to cut down on, like gang activity. We're trying to cut down on distractions. So like if you were wearing like a super low cut shirt or that one that was too tight or short shorts or something or whatever. And also trying to get rid of kids like, trying to, what's that called where you wear like the coolest sneaks or whatever and you pay like stupid money for them? What's that called?
Showing off.
Yeah, but there's not a term for that.
Beast.
Man, you guys are the worst.
I don't
all right, so anyways,
Yeah, it's
we're
a
trying to
hype
crack
beast.
down on all that stuff so kids are focused on edumacation, not all that other stuff.
All right, next question. This is by Anonymous. How do you get over depression?
We actually have got a couple of questions on those topics, and Peyton is making a story on depression, and Ireland is making a story about anxiety. So tune in back to see more in depth about that. But apart from therapy and medication, we know a couple of things that you can do yourself.
First one.
All right, where am I looking here? You could try and make goals for yourself. Because when you're depressed, you sometimes think you can't accomplish anything. So if you set goals, even if they're small goals, and you complete them, you start building up your own self-confidence and you feel good about that. Jacob, number 2.
Next one. You could try to get more sleep. When you're depressed, you lack sleep a lot. You try to get rid of all distractions in your room. No TV, no cell phone, no nothing. Try to set a time to go to bed and wake up, and you're
not your friend.
And your sleep might improve. 3.
3 is try to get some exercise. Exercise boosts a feel-good chemical called, how do you say that?
What is it? Dopamine?
No, endorphins.
Endorphins, yeah.
Endorphins. This is with eating right, and that can make you feel better.
Okay, next questions. How many kids go to JFK? That's by Anonymous too. We actually have 667 kids that go in here.
Not 666.
Okay. Last question. How old is JFK?
So this was an interesting question Jacob and I talked about a lot because a lot of our questions that have been submitted have been about like the history of the school, how many kids go here, when did it start, stuff like that. So people are interested, so we did a little investigation to find out more.
The school was originally supposed to open in 1965 and 1966, but the construction was late, so it opened in 1967. The junior high kids had to go to school. The junior high and JFK kids had to share a school. So junior high went from 6 to noon. And then we assume, since from 6 noon to 6 hours, that they went from noon to 6 p.m., the JFK kids.
Yeah, so this was super interesting. We got this information from Miss McCabe and then also from Miss Fouts, whose relative was one of the first students here. So she was able to, she remembered this kind of weird setup where they shared a school and construction wasn't done and whatever. So kind of an interesting background. And then I worked here before the school was reconstructed. So this room we're in right now, the Warrior Newsroom, is the original part of the building, the E wing. And Miss McCabe's room right across the hall, Miss McGill's room right across the hall used to be the office. And then if you are in A wing, B wing, or C wing right now, then you're in the new part of the school, which started basically from the cafeteria over. They basically just like tacked on a new school to the old cafeteria.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all we have for today, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Hope we answered your questions. Tea time.
Greatest American debates.
Yeah, that sounds great, but I still think Mr. Morales' class is gonna win.
Wow, okay, no faith. Whichever U.S. history class produces the JFK American debate team will put a pie on the other choices teachers. Live on Warrior News.
Well, thanks for everyone watching.
Tune in next week, and we'll see you there.
Right here on Warrior News.